Residents had a challenging week. Residents and businesses of Gauteng's largest metro had to navigate water outages at a time of soaring temperatures. The City of Joburg is now blaming high water demand due to high migration, leakages from aging infrastructure, vandalism and illegal connections for the growing problem. City officials say they're aware of the infrastructure backlog, but budget constraints are impacting plans of upgrades and maintenance over time. Joining us is Professor Johann Tempelhoff, extraordinary professor in the Faculty of Humanities at Northwest University. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. Have officials failed to plan adequately for increased demand and ability to supply water services?
Well, first of all, I think we're sitting in an era where we have load shedding that affects the pumping of water, as well as extreme climate conditions because of the onset of the El Niño situation at present, and also increasing evidence of global climate warming at present. So we're sitting at a critical juncture in time at the start of the new year, since the start of the new year, in terms of water supplies in Gauteng as a whole, but also specifically in Johannesburg, where obviously the infrastructure is overworked, and you have the per capita consumption of water in Gauteng at 279 liters per capita per day, per person. South Africa, the average is 218. So somewhere along the line, we are busy over-consuming water, which is not always necessary, and more than often it is because of infrastructure systems, municipal infrastructures that are incapacitated because they are old and worn out and cannot take all the pressures that they are exposed to.
Okay, as we sit at this critical juncture, what do you think the issue is at local government? Why do we see so many of these issues arising at this level of government?
Well, firstly, I think it starts at the individual household, where we do not have a sense of saving water. We need to be disciplined, and we need to be aware of the fact that water is scarce. And very often people let taps just keep on running, and that's wasteful. That's extremely wasteful. So it literally starts in the household, but from there it goes into the community, and then of course your municipal authorities are responsible for major services. Now, we are blessed in Gauteng with Rand Water that basically provides 29 local authorities with water, and they're doing a very good job of it. But as a result of load shedding, you find pipelines become clogged with air, and they do not release water. You have burst pipelines as a result of pressure that builds up in these pipelines when the power comes on again. So there are a multitude of problems. But also we know there are lots of acts of vandalism and destruction and the stealing of infrastructure systems that are wasteful, and that causes severe suffering in many areas.
Yeah. Let's scrutinize consumer behavior for a bit. I mean, do we behave as though we're not a water-scarce country? And, if so, why do you believe this is the case?
Our water problems are definitely anthropogenically influenced problems, because we do not necessarily have a physical shortage of water, but it is a population shortage of water. We have large numbers of people constantly urbanizing, and that is a process we are unable to contain. It is a spontaneous process, as is the case in the rest of sub-Saharan Africa. You have rapid urbanization, and that unfortunately is something that we have to accommodate. Just to give you an example, if you take the cities of Johannesburg and Tshwane, you have two metropolitan authorities. If you unite them, they will typically have a population of an estimated 17 million people. And you have to provide water to 17 million people. So it is an immense task, and we are unable to contend with that at all times. In international terms, when they speak about mega cities in the global north, it's no problem because they have very well-managed systems where you have artificial intelligence doing calculations in conjunction with real-time living engineers, and they make decisions collectively that are in favor of saving water and at the same time providing sufficient water resources.
Yeah.
We are not at that stage. Our local authorities in many cases are not equipped with sufficient human resources to maintain water operating systems as well as wastewater treatment systems. So it is an endemic phenomenon within our municipal structures that we need to address firstly, and secondly, we need to collaborate with the regional water board. In our case, it is primarily Rand Water that is able to supply, but then we have to really work hand in glove with them in order to secure sufficient supplies.
And very lastly, talk to us a bit about the issues around the rapid growth of invasive plants on many of our waterways. With whom does this problem lie?
Yeah, well, in the rivers, the catchments of Gauteng, we now have water lettuce and hyacinth proliferating. For the first time, really, in the case of the Vaal River Barrage, we have an uncontrollable situation with water lettuce. It started 2021 in the Suikerbos River, and it was contained within a few months. But since then, all of a sudden, at the beginning of 2024, it started proliferating at the Leeuwtybos River, flowing into the barrage. So we have a 63-kilometer stretch of the Vaal River really flooded with water lettuce, and this kills your life, it kills the water, and it's very destructive on the environment. And we will spend a lot of time on resolving that problem, but it is all sewage-based. And when you have excessive wastewater flowing into your river catchments in many parts of Gauteng, you find these problems surfacing, and it is deteriorating our water quality. And what is now in the Vaal River Barrage is flowing down the Vaal River right into the Northern Cape. Eventually, just before it flows into the Orange River and the Atlantic Ocean, we will probably have water lettuce in time to come. And for irrigation operations further downstream, that is very negative, as well as communities on the river's edges that require water from the Vaal River. So this is actually an ongoing chain of destruction that sets in where water quality is compromised, and it affects our water security, our energy security, as well as our food security.
Right. Thank you very much. Let's perhaps leave it there for now. Wrapping that discussion with Professor Johann Tempelhoff, Extraordinary Professor in the Faculty